Okay, Ravina, this stream is live now. I'm gonna make you host back again.
Okay,
Have a
great.
great day.
Thanks, Kevin. All right. We're just going to wait for everybody to show up in class this morning. It's morning for me. It's only 8:30 where I live in Victoria, BC in Canada.
Okay, it's 9 p.m. here in India.
Oh, right. Are you in did you say in Delhi? Are you in New Delhi, you said?
Yeah, I'm in the northern part of India, the Himachal Pradesh, Himalayan range.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Oh, I want to visit. I had a trip all planned, and then because of COVID, I had to put it on hold. I'm hoping maybe for 2023, 24. We'll see. But I had a whole 5.5 week trip planned.
Yeah, great. Actually, Shimla is in safe zone right now. The Queen.
It is or it
Queen of
isn't?
Hills.
It is in the hills.
It is in hills and it's in safe zone actually.
Yeah.
It's a tourist place, but it's also in the safe
Yeah.
zone.
Yeah, I had a trip planned to land in New Delhi and then do sort of like the round, like the typical places we go. A person would go, like not the Golden Triangle, but kind of like that area, and then fly up to like into your area, and then I can't think of the names of the places because it's been a little while. So
Chandigarh.
Yeah, Chandigarh. Yeah, that was that place. And then there's a place all the yogi, everybody goes, like the real famous
Kashi.
Yeah, I think that was it. Good morning, Judy. Come on in. We are all just getting ourselves settled here. We got a big class today. I'm really excited to be teaching this class. It's a brand new brand new program that I created recently. So hi, Janice. Nice to see you.
Hello. What's the weather like in Canada?
It's nice. It's super sunny. See, I have to close my blind when I'm teaching because it's too glary, but it's sunny, and it's so you're in Celsius as well, right? It's about 18 degrees today. It's going to be fairly warm for our early spring.
Good, because I heard on one of the other classes that it was really bad in Canada.
Well, but Canada's vast, right? There's the west side and the east side, and I'm right on the west coast, which is super mild, and I'm going to be planting all my plants on the balcony this weekend.
Well, come to Canada then. I know what it was. I was on this trip last night where we go all around the world. We were doing, I don't know where we were, but a lot of Canadians coming because it was somewhere in London. No, it was in Belfast with the Titanic.
Okay.
Is that related to the Titanic? Are they twinned up with it? Because there was lots of people coming in from Canada.
I do not know. Sometimes we just find out about certain things.
Oh, they were saying how cold it was there, and that's why I thought I'd ask you today.
Okay. Well, welcome to everybody. I'm going to just hit the record button so I don't forget. I see some familiar faces. It's great to see everybody. Martha and Mary is here. Nelda, it's nice to see you. Cassandra and Kate. And Karen, boy, yeah, I recognize everybody. I recognize all the people that have their cameras on, so that's lovely. And of course, I recognize some other names. Dee might put her camera on. She's just signing in. We do have a big class today because guess what? This is a brand new class that I created recently. Hi, Oliver.
Elita.
Okay, nice to see you. And so let's get ourselves started because it's brand new. I haven't tested to see how much if I can get through all my slides in the hour that we have together. So I've done the recording, so got that going. I'm going to just move the chat over a little bit so I can have a look at it. And as you can see in the chat, we have Victor here today from support to help us out. So that's wonderful to have a helper. If I miss something in the chat, just raise your hand if you can. And everybody's familiar with the reactions button down below there, and it kind of gives you a chance to, now I'm going to just try and make these squares bigger so I can see you all. How do I do that? Why is it not working? Okay, just give me 1 second here. There we go. Then I can see at least some people, and then when your hand gets raised on the screen, I can see it. All right, and there's Pat. Hi, Pat. Nice to see you. I just love it when I recognize like all your smiling faces of the people that I have met. And for those that I haven't met, well, first of all, we're in Natural Remedies, brand new class. My name is Ravina Chander. I'm one of the guides here. I've been teaching now for a couple months, so I'm starting to get the hang of things. Not perfect at it. I mean, I sometimes forget to show my screen and things like that, but you guys are great. You always let me know, am I supposed to be seeing something on the screen? So I just mentioned in the beginning of the class here, I'm from Canada. I live in Victoria, BC, and it's beautiful and sunny today. And we are starting kind of into a little bit of warmer weather, which is great because I'm going to start planting outside. That helps me with natural remedies in a sense, because I actually can plant some herbs in my garden that I can use for specific reasons. And what else to tell you? I just love health and wellness. Anything to do to help ourselves prevent ourselves from getting sick or getting, symptoms. I'm all about it. So a little bit for Get Set Up, just a little bit of the housekeeping. Just remember, we do learn from each other. Don't be shy to ask a question, or because somebody else might be wanting to ask that question and they're just a little shy. So don't forget to, and you're here as it's a social thing as well. You get to see each other's faces. You get to recognize friends. Maybe you make some friends over Get Set Up. We are recording, as I mentioned. You can send an email at the end if you would like a copy of the recording, and Victor has it in the chat there, help@getsetup.io. And today, guess what? We are live streaming, my favorite. I'm a little shy with the live streaming, but because I can't tell who's watching. But for all of you out there watching the class, thank you for being here. Sign up for and register for the class next time if you like what you hear, and you can then do some more interaction in the class. And lastly, we don't get paid. We don't get kickbacks for any products or services we might talk about. And I do sometimes talk about products or services, things that I like. So objectives for today, we're going to understand the healing power of plants, herbs, spices, and food. We're going to learn the history, a little bit of history, tiny little history lesson on natural medicine. And we're going to learn 7 natural remedies for 7 common ailments. Now, I picked these ailments based on questions I've had from my coaching of health that I do on the side besides Get Set Up, and also from a lot of you that have asked about certain things like symptoms that you might have, and is there something natural we can use to eliminate or help with some of these types of ailments. So brand new class, brand new information. So let's get started. I like lots of engagement. So if you can, unmute yourself if you want to say something or answer a question. And then don't forget about the little reactions button down below where you can put your hand up, or you can give a thumbs up or a clap or something if you agree with something. All right. So how many I've asked this question, similar question in my healing class, but this one is about, have you used a plant, an herb, a spice, maybe even a food to help with a certain body ailment or symptom? Yeah. Kathy, you want to unmute yourself? And
yeah, I take the turmeric.
Okay.
For like aches and pains, joint pain and stuff like that, and it seems to help. And also, I like to take echinacea when I'm thinking I'm getting something, a cold or something. That really, really helps, along with some zinc. That really helps.
Excellent. Good. Echinacea. I used to see commercials for that a lot on TV. It's been a while though. Mary, you wanted to share?
One of my favorites is ginger for stomach ailments.
Love it.
Yep. And chamomile tea, if I'm having trouble sleeping, I'll sip on some chamomile.
Yeah, great. We're there's a lot of products out there now, and you do have to, it might say chamomile tea, but you really got to read the labels, right? Sometimes they say it's got something and it's like the last ingredient. So it's not like getting your own chamomile plant and putting it in hot water. So you have to be careful with stuff like that. I love the idea of ginger. It's in my healing class. We talk a lot about ginger and how good it is for if you're feeling nauseous or you're just feeling like your digestion isn't great. Ginger is awesome for that. Janice, do you have something?
Arnica.
Arnica, yes, I've heard about that. And is that for if you've hurt yourself, right?
Internal, you can take it internally and also have it as a cream.
Right.
And if you hit yourself and you've got a bruise coming, it takes all the grayness out and yellow.
Yes.
It's from one to the other. It's very good.
Yeah, I heard of that from my natural nutrition when I did functional nutrition studies about arnica. Now, remember today, I'll say this in the beginning, and so that I can remember to remind myself to say it, is whatever it is you're going to try and do, make sure you do talk to your doctor and make sure that it's okay, that there's no weird thing with the medication if you're, say, taking medication for the same ailment. So I want to say that up front, and I might say it again. Just remember to ask your doctor, or let your doctor know, hey, I'm going to start taking turmeric pills for my arthritis. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Rosalind, did you want to say something?
Yes, I was going to say that very thing because I was using echinacea, and I was in the pharmacist one day getting my pressure pill, and I decided to ask the pharmacist. He told me no, not the echinacea, because it interfered with my pressure pill.
Right.
And
right.
When I had was it cancer? No, gout or something bad. I had to stop taking turmeric for a while because it was interfering,
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And Rosalind just made a really, really good point. We don't always just have to ask our doctor. Do you know that our pharmacists are amazing? Like, they know so much. They actually sometimes know more than the doctor, because what do? That's what they studied, the intricacies of all the medications and the interactions and the things that work good and things that are not good. And for example, the next class I have coming out, this is a little sneak peek or a sneak hearing about it. I'm doing a class on how to detoxing our home for better health, because here we're all learning all these great things for our health of our body. We focus on our movement, what we put into our body and the food we put into our body, but we forget about our surroundings, our environment, right? Which we know is really important. So in the class on detoxing your home, one of the things I do state that's very, very important, and my husband's a science guy, and he's the one that helped me with the material. Do not mix your cleaning products. Do not mix them, because you could turn it into something really not very good. Even though one's a good cleaning product, another one's, a cleaning product. Do not mix cleaning products and think, oh, twice is going to be better. So it's the same thing with our bodies. There are some herbs and plants and spice that is so strong and can do certain things in our body that mixed with the medication might be harmful. So that's a really great point.
Yeah.
Okay.
I take sorrel. It's an island plant. My friends from all the different islands introduced me to. I was feeling sick, and my friend made me a liquid with the sorrel. Okay.
Yeah, there's so many amazing things out there, and do your own research and stuff too. Okay, so let's move on, because I don't want to run out of time, but we'll see how we do with all the slides.
How do you spell that sorrow and arnica that the two ladies said? If you
could.
Okay,
sure.
sorrel is SORREL.
Okay, and the other Zara, the first lady, arnica. How do you spell
arnica? That? Victor will put it in the chat there. Arnica. Do you know? He can look it up too. He can Google it too. But yeah, sorrel. Use sorrel or sorrel. I say sorrel. Yeah, that's great. Yeah. And Victor will put the other one, arnica, starts with an A. He'll put it into the chat just so we can keep moving along. But yeah, so isn't it exciting to think that we are using some interesting things we didn't realize? Maybe, oh, I put that on myself when I'm not feeling good, or I put that in a tea. So natural remedies have been around for thousands of years here on Earth, thousands of years. So in our ancient history, we've got places that have been using medicinal plants for so long. India, China, Greece, Egypt. These are some that I put up on the screen. There are obviously other countries that have been using medicinal stuff for years and years and years. Our indigenous people here in Canada, and I'm sure in the United States as well, they have been using plants for eons for medicine. And there are specific indigenous, well, we're going to come up with the names, what they call themselves, that have been using plants to heal forever. They didn't go to the pharmacy and pick up pills. They were using
my grandmother always used plants out of her garden in Alabama, in the South.
Yes. Yes. So like, I think it's been like all over the place that we have had people using plants. So that's what's so exciting. So in the very beginning, humans, we used to experiment with plants to see how they could help us heal. Because in the very beginning, we didn't have a book to say, oh yeah, don't use that plant, use this one. I mean, let's face it, plants are so powerful. There are plants that you might ingest by accident that will dehydrate you and eventually you'll die. I can't think of the movie. I saw a movie where a guy went into the outback of wherever he was, and he was doing quite fine until, yeah, he had sources of water, but anyways, this plant he took, no matter, once he took it, he knew he was going to die, because once he found it in his little, he had a little book, it was a movie, and he realized he had ingested this plant, which would slowly dehydrate him. So they are powerful. So it's kind of funny, but I read this somewhere when I was researching for this class. Think of it as thousands of years as this big, vast clinical trial, because honestly, we tried things that didn't work all that well. We tested things back and forth. Now, this is really interesting. It's possible from in our ancient years that the ideas about curative power, so curative, like curing such whatever symptom or curing whatever disease, powers of plants came from humans observing our animals. Now I'm going to spell this word out or say it out because it's hard to say, but zoopharmacognosy. So that is the term, kind of fun. That's why I highlighted it. That is the behavior in which animals apparently self-medicate themselves by selecting specific plants. Now, they've done that to help with whatever's going on in them. So here's this looks like a little deer eating something. It's just a picture I found and I thought he was cute, so I put him up on the screen. But how many of us does anybody have a cat or a dog? Yeah. You know, when they're not feeling good, what do? If they can find it, they eat grass. We've seen that, right? Whenever you see your animal eating, they're gonna throw up. Better get ready for it. I had a cat that kind of looked like this cat, so that's why I put this picture up. And when he wasn't feeling good, he wanted to go out in the backyard. He would go and look for grass so he could chew it, so he would vomit. And so we have seen that in our animals, haven't we? Like our more domesticated animals. But definitely. And another example, I didn't put a picture up, although I could try and find a cute picture of a chimpanzee. They eat a thing called the Aspilia plant. And apparently that helps to get rid of parasites in their body. So humans really did look to see what animals were doing and what plants they were eating. There's a term I learned to somewhere else in the monkey, I'm going to call it a congregation. It's not called a congregation, but a big group of monkeys. Somebody will know what the term is. When a new monkey joins in, they role model, they watch the other monkeys to see what they eat and what they do before they start doing it, if they're in like a new area. And that's very common. So I thought that was interesting, the way we do look at animals to see kind of what they do and what plants they eat. Now, we all know when we were kids, you'd go for a walk with your parents and they'd say, don't eat those red berries. Because remember, there's this bush, I don't know, that's got the red berries on it that looks like it might be edible, but either they taste terrible or they're bad or they're poisonous. I don't know. I was always told it was poisonous. Don't touch it. I can't think of the name of that. I don't think it's like the bush at Christmas time, but the red berries. Is that what it is? Yeah, it's
I
like,
don't know.
It's not edible.
I have mulberry bushes, but I remember being told as a child, don't eat red berries, so I never did eat.
Yeah. And I mean, and let's face it, there's some really delicious red berries out there, but there's obviously these other ones. Okay,
Yeah.
so
I have a question.
Sure.
I have a question.
Peggy.
I'm sorry to interrupt.
That's okay.
But I had a very, very severe case of poison ivy, and it was just horrendous. I had to keep going to the doctor. I think maybe they misdiagnosed it. I think it might have been poison oak, but what would happen if you ingested poison ivy by accident?
Well, I don't know. I have no idea.
Well,
I know it's not great for the
It
skin.
would not be pleasant. Well, it would not be pleasant for your insides either. You would be itching on the inside too.
Oh, yeah.
It would be absolutely miserable. And in my opinion, it might kill you.
Yeah, oh, probably, most likely. I mean, if it's bad for the outside, I'm sure it's not good for the inside. So Dee's just asking if everybody who is not speaking, if you can just put yourself on mute, that will help her be able to hear better on her computer. Victor is also, he can mute everybody, and that you can just take yourself off of mute if you do have to add something. So in today's society, our doctors, there are doctors that specifically focus on natural medicine. Now, I mentioned in my Healing Foods class, Dr. Mark Hyman, he's so into using health and natural foods and stuff as the central part of medicine, basically. But there are doctors that look at natural medicine using spices, using plants, using foods. And do we know what those doctors are called in today's society? Does anybody have an idea?
Homeopathic?
Yeah, homeopathic. Anybody else?
Holistic.
Holistic.
Yeah, holistic is a word we see. Karen?
Herbalist.
Yes, herbalist. Yeah, you guys are good. I'm gonna have to add more to my next slide.
Alternative.
Yeah, that's great. So alternative, yeah, some doctors will call or specialists will call themselves alternative doctors. So I've got a few here on the next screen. So we call them naturopathic doctors, traditional Chinese medicine doctors, so TCM, that's another one. What about Ayurvedic doctors? We hear about Ayurvedic medicine, herbal medicine doctors, and then these ones were interesting. I found when I was doing more research, I hadn't heard of them, but Aboriginal medicine or bush medicine. So bush medicine, either like in the areas of Australia and maybe other countries, they really have an interplay between the physical, emotional, social, and spiritual aspects. They bring all that and that's crucial in getting to that well-being. So they add in some of these other realms into the healing part, which I found really interesting. So they'll take a plant, but there's like a social and a spiritual aspect to it. So I thought that was really neat. So I should add more to my slide here because you guys have mentioned them, like the herbalists and alternative and things like that. Okay. All right, so let's go to the next screen. So there's thousands and thousands of healing plants, but I've just chosen around 7 to discuss today because we're going to get right into the ailments these are just ailments that people have either mentioned to me, or I thought, you know what, as I'm aging myself, what foods, like what things can I do? What are some of the ailments or symptoms that I've had as an older adult myself? So that's kind of what I picked for to discuss today.
You're not an old adult.
Oh, I am.
You're not an old ager. You're a young ager.
Well,
you look like a young ager.
Thank you. I think it's all the vegetables and stuff. Since I started teaching, I've been like teaching all this great health about brain health and all. I've been eating so many vegetables and I've really cleaned up my diet. My husband and I have been very, very good. So we're both down like 11 pounds around there. He's probably lost more because, men always seem to lose faster, but it's helped my skin.
Do you exercise also?
I do. Every day I get out for my walks and stuff. But anyways, I'm 56 this year, by the way, just so everybody knows. I'm into the senior
No, you're not.
ages.
No,
Yes.
you're not. You're no more than 30.
Oh, that's
you don't look like
so
it.
So kind. Well, I decided to be teaching older adults because, when you become one, it's sort of like there are ways to have vibrant living. And that's what I'm all about, is vibrant living. That's what I do outside of Get Set Up, is I talk about vibrant living as a health coach. So let's look at the first ailment. This is the first one I picked: high blood sugar. High blood sugar. Now, another reference might be the glucose levels in your blood. So anybody who's pre-diabetic or diabetic, knows about blood sugar levels. So whether you have adult onset diabetes or type 2 diabetes, or you're considered pre-diabetic, or you're concerned that maybe you are kind of that, we want to be able to control our blood sugar levels. It's so important. So here we go for the remedies. This is a big one. This is a great one. Cinnamon. Cinnamon is a fragrant spice. It comes from the bark of the Ceylon tree. And it's really, really versatile because this is an interesting one. There's no sugar in it, but when you taste it, almost feels sort of tastes a little sweet. So if you're trying to reduce your sugar in something, like even your porridge, your oatmeal, if you put cinnamon in it, you might put less sugar in it if you're somebody who has to put sugar into your oatmeal. Here's the interesting thing about cinnamon, and I never was introduced to this until my husband started doing this. When I met him, he used to put cinnamon when he was cooking. I'm like, what are you doing? It's only for sweet stuff. It's only for cinnamon buns. It's only for that kind of stuff. But no, he would put it in soups and things like that. So it doesn't add sugar, but it adds a tiny bit of sweetness. So I use it in, if you've taken my 7 Healing Foods class, I put it in my applesauce. So studies have found evidence that cinnamon can help lower your fasting blood glucose levels. It can improve your insulin sensitivity, and you want to have higher insulin sensitivity. You want your insulin to be able to be released just the right amount. When you lose your sensitivity, that's probably because you've been flooding your system with sugar. You're addicted to sugar, and your insulin just doesn't know how, it doesn't have sensitivity anymore. It's got low sensitivity, so it's always plugging out insulin into your body, giving you that low blood sugar feeling, and then you've got this roller coaster. You're up and down eating sugary foods. So cinnamon is one of those things that also says that can improve your lipids, the fat in your blood. So cinnamon's one of those wonderful ones. So the healthiest way to ingest cinnamon, and I say this because I am somebody who, when I was younger in my 20s, loved cinnamon buns. You know, you'd go into the mall, like the shopping mall, and if there was a Cinnabon or whatever store you guys have in your country, oh my gosh, it smelled the whole entire shopping mall. You could smell Cinnabon from miles and miles and miles, and it kind of got you going to go pick. And of course, they're not this big. They're what, like this big, right? Cinnabons are like huge. So I want you to consider putting a little shake into your smoothie. If you have a smoothie, I want you to consider adding it to your porridge or your oats. Try putting it in your soups. Just a little shake into your soups. It's not going to hurt if you're having just a sprinkle here and there. If you start using it in bigger quantities, now I like putting a lot with my applesauce. Again, if you're on medications, just make sure you check with your doctor. All right, let's move on to the second one, because I want to make sure we get through all 7 ailments. Here's one that I will say was something that I was affected by. Not anymore. I feel like my hair has gotten a lot. I have very curly hair. I sort of straighten it for today's class, but thinning hair. Have any of us, you don't have to put your hand up, but feel like this has been a problem once in a while? Especially for women with the hormonal changes through perimenopause and menopause, we can have this symptom. Now, when I say thinning hair, I'm not talking about like the really drastic hair loss, which could be other sorts of medical conditions and things that these natural remedies are probably going to do nothing for you, possibly nothing. But I'm talking about that thinning where you just notice, wow, I more hair than I expected came out in the shower today. That happens once in a while. Now, keep in mind, our hair growth and our hair release changes throughout seasons. So in the summertime, just like cats and dogs, they can shed a little bit. We can sort of shed hair leading into summer, I think. I think that's what my hairstylist has said, because the new growth is coming in. So that can happen in the summertime. So keep that in mind in terms of seasons. But what it also can be caused by is lifestyle habits, genetics, and both. So I feel like the male baldness is hereditary on the mother's side. So if you have a mom whose father had losing their hair, any of the sons, like my 2 brothers, because my grandfather on my mom's side did have sort of thinning hair. Both my brothers, well, one of them more so than the other, kind of started having thinning hair quite early in life. So not to dwell on it, because I mean it's a stressful thing, right? When we start to lose our hair, or we go, oh my God, I can see my part. Like, I was very stressed by it. Unfortunately, stress itself can cause thinning hair. So we should be, typically we lose about 50 to 100 hairs a day. That's a lot, but that's just natural. So lifestyle habits, over treating your hair, using harsh products, like getting like the inexpensive, harsher products, wearing your hair too tight. I have a friend at my last work. She used to wear her hair up in a bun every single day. And I used to think, gosh, if you're going to pull your hair like that every day, you're bound to lose some hair. Low iron and other minerals in your diet, and chronic stress. So I found out, for me, it was the low minerals and the chronic stress that was causing sort of some hair thinness for me and bringing on the menopausal symptoms. So we want to just look at what can we do to greatly reduce our thinning hair. Well, number one, get rid of your chronic stress. So if all of a sudden your hair is coming out and you didn't expect it, think back about 4 months prior. Was there a big chronic stress event or thing that was going on? Now, I give you this example because this is something my hairdresser told me. My hairstylist said she can always tell if there's a woman that's been pregnant and has a baby, usually around 4 months later, she can tell by feeling and cutting their hair, it's a lot thinner, because it takes about 4 months to show up. So they're stressed, right? New baby, especially if it's a first baby, this is like a stressful thing, and they're not sleeping, all that. About 4 months later, their hair is like not good. And it's thinning. If maybe some of you, like, I haven't had babies, I don't have kids, but any of you that have had children, maybe you remember back when you did have children, like maybe there's some changes with your hair. So here are the natural remedies for hair thinning. I want you to increase your vitamins and minerals naturally by eating a variety of fruits and vegetables. I can't stress this enough, the variety of eating the rainbow, because you get different enzymes and vitamins and minerals from different foods. So
Hi, sorry to interrupt you, Ravina. We have a question. I think hand raised from Janice.
Oh, Janice, did you have a question, or was that from before?
Oh, no, sorry. It's just that hit on my daughter. My daughter's hair's gone thin and her baby's 2. And that happened just after her baby. Yeah.
Yeah, and it happens.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for adding that in. It's true. And my hairstylist said every single time if somebody's having a baby, she knows her hair, the texture changes, everything. And you think, oh my God, is this because of pregnancy? I think it's like the change in hormones, but also the stress, the chronic stress of, a new baby. Karen, did you want to say something? Thanks for helping me out there, Victor.
Last year, I had a bout with COVID-19, and then my hair started to come out after that.
Yep, stress, chronic stress, it can do it. It can do it. But your hair looks great right now, so you obviously recovered nice. Recovered nice. Well, hey, nobody needs to know, right?
I had it with my third baby, and it was my third child, and right after having the baby, I lost a whole bunch of weight immediately. I mean, I almost looked anorexic immediately.
Yeah, I mean, like chronic stress, I think is the number one thing that can
and then cause that. But that was from having the third baby, which she was no problems with her. Well, she did have a few problems, but anyway, so I had a really shocking loss of weight. The other one was eventually I started losing hair.
Yeah.
Which was very, very weird.
Yeah, sometimes you just don't know really what the issue is. So let's look at what the remedy is for the losing the hair. Is having the fruits and the vegetables, because you want to have that combination of all the different minerals and vitamins. But what's the most important for hair is our iron levels. Get that checked, possibly. Zinc. Somebody mentioned zinc as something just for helping in general. A lot of us are low in zinc. What's a food? Pumpkin seeds are wonderful for increasing our zinc. And then also biotin, which the other name for biotin is B7s. So foods like nuts, lentils, and liver. The other really big thing, which I talk about in every single natural or health class I teach, omega-3s and the omega-6s. But the reason I don't stress omega-6s so much is we all seem to get a lot of omega-6s. We get a lot of omega-6 in plant oils. So it's the omega-3s that we're lacking. For any of you that need to focus on omega-3s, I would say the fatty fishes like sardines and salmon, the vegetarian versions, flax seeds, chia seeds, hemp seeds, walnuts, Brussels sprouts even have a lot of omega-3s. So if you are feeling like your hair is thinning, first of all, try to not be unkind to yourself, okay? Don't think it's old age. Don't think it's whatever. It's probably some lifestyle stuff going on. Maybe you're eating standing up in the kitchen and you're not relaxed when you're eating. Well, you're not digesting and getting the minerals out of your food if you eat stressed. So that's another thing. Doesn't matter how healthy the food is on the plate. If you're eating under a stressful situation, your body's, you're going to just end up probably with loose bowels or diarrhea or something, because, and your body is not going to take in any of those great minerals in that food. So really
excuse me.
Sorry.
But
Who's that?
I'm sorry. Could also a change of climate moving from California to Kansas City cause hair loss?
Well, I mean, obviously, here's the thing about other thing about hair is, like I mentioned with the products we use, our bodies and our hair is also used to the water in our area. So if you move quite a distance and now the water's harder versus softer or softer versus harder, it can make some changes for sure. But the main thing is our diet when it comes to thinning hair and reducing our chronic stress. It's the diet. It's those omega-3s, those fatty acids. Now, here's an example too. When people do the strict dieting, like the Atkins diet, some of these diets or low fat diet, you're not getting healthy fats in your body. You're not getting your omega-3s. Your hair is going to thin. So there is an example. Now, let's get on to the third ailment, anxiety. And I had somebody ask me about anxiety before, so I want to talk about this one. So depending on your life circumstances, let's face it, we can have an increase of anxiety as we age for many different factors, okay? Some anxiety, I think certain amount of anxiety symptoms can be just part of normal aging because, you know, we live in these busy world. It's chaotic. I mean, look at what's going on globally. Like that in itself can cause anxiety for a lot of us. And, you know, last year in March, when all of a sudden we were hit with this global thing, for a lot of people, that caused a lot of anxiety because it was the unknown and not knowing. We know a little bit more now, but still, it can still be anxious provoking, right? So if you don't get your anxiety checked out, like see a doctor or see somebody about your anxiety, it can start to affect your day-to-day, which is not good. So I've got a huge list of things on how we can reduce our anxiety before I talk about the natural remedy. Staying active, drinking less alcohol because the alcohol with the anxiety is not a good mix. Ditching our caffeine also because just for a while anyways, because the anxiety that you have inside your body plus the caffeine will also increase your anxiety. So maybe just for a little bit of time, if you're feeling anxious, just to cut out that caffeine, practicing the deep breathing, trying to improve your quality of sleep. So if you're not sleeping well at night because of anxiety, trying to have a little nap, a 20-minute nap even in the afternoons. Meditating, if you can try to quiet your mind a little bit to do meditation. Improving your diet, which we talked about on the previous slide, just in general, if we improve what we're eating, that can help us with our anxiety symptoms. There's other things like aromatherapy. Now, I use aromatherapy quite a bit. I have some beautiful essential oils that I use. Now, this one's called frangipani, which is plumeria by another name. And this was my mother's really favorite flower that you can smell in Hawaii. And if I'm feeling a little bit stressed, I just take out my natural oils, essential oils sometimes, and just give it a nice little smell. And that's really what aromatherapy is. Like you can put it in one of those diffusers. You can put it in the bath. Some people have these things you can put in the shower. So when the shower is going, you can have that nice smell. And like if you haven't smelled frangipani or plumeria, you got to smell it. It reminds me of Hawaii because they have trees with these beautiful little white flowers that have that scent. And it just reminds me of my mom, actually. I've got on here improving diet twice. So doubly, let's improve our diet. I'll fix the slide later. And spending time with animals. So Nelda wants to know where to get the oils. Okay, there are a couple essential oil companies. doTERRA is a company. There's another one, I can't think of the name. If you Google essential oils or Google aromatherapy in your local area, any aromatherapist will sell the oils, I bet you. But this one's just amazing because it just brings back memories for me and my mom.
What about getting them at health food stores?
Yeah, you can find them in health food stores as well.
Are they reliable at health food stores?
You got to talk to them and you got to do your own research. I always say do your own research. Research the company when you get home. Spending time with animals. How many people know of nursing homes or senior facilities or even at the hospitals here in Canada where they've got special animals like the dogs there?
Yes, we do.
Yeah.
We do. Nursing homes.
They started even putting them in airports too. Did you notice? Because people get stressed when they're well, not as much right now because nobody's flying really, but in the airports when we're stressed, like we've missed a flight or whatever, they've got these like dogs you can pet. They bring them into nursing homes a lot. Where else have we seen that? Yeah, I think airports I've seen, and the beginning in the hospital where the visitor section is when you're waiting, you're waiting patiently to find out if your loved one's out of surgery. They've got these great little dogs and cats.
They've had some at schools as well for the special needs students.
Yes, you're right. They do. And I've seen people that also have, where was it once? They have special animals to help keep them calm. Like it might not be a CNI dog, but it's for their anxiety.
Well, I think even in regular classrooms, they have, and I don't mean special ed, but in regular classrooms, they will have birds, they will have fish, and they will have rabbits and guinea pigs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I've seen it in my children's classrooms.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm just spelling this out. Sorry, I'm just in the chat here. Frangipani or plumeria, just for Kathy was wanting to know how to spell this. Yeah, this is such a lovely smell, this one. And the last one I added, because this is something kind of new, is weighted blankets. It's become like a trend. I've never tried a weighted blanket. I can't imagine, but I'll say this, when I'm sleeping, even in the summer, if my husband and I go to have a nap like together, like he can lie on the bed and fall asleep with nothing on him. And it's hot, right? The sun is shining, all that. But even if it's a hot day and I've got the fan on, I need something over me to feel secure, I guess it is. And so I think this whole weighted blanket idea is kind of cool.
I have one. I like it, but it's not perfect.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on things. So let's go to the actual remedies for the anxiety. Lavender is the clear winner. It's just the clear winner. Evidence suggests that oral lavender aromatherapy, which I think is the best way to get the lavender, can really reduce anxiety. Oral lavender meaning you put a little bit of lavender in your teas, and there's lots of beautiful teas that have lavender mixed in with some lemon or something else. So definitely that's a big one. The other one is passion flower. That has been specifically studied and researched to help with anxiety. Now, you usually see it in a combination tea. So it's not just passion flower, but it might be passion flower with something else, maybe even chamomile mixed in or lavender mixed in. The other one that somebody mentioned was chamomile. It makes a really soothing tea. And chamomile is the specific tea for sleep. Like have your chamomile tea before you go to bed. We've all heard about that. So for anxiety, I would say it's these plants that make a beautiful tea or something to smell before or to help reduce your anxiety and I bet you they put these in places just to help reduce people's anxiety. All right, we're getting on to the fourth one. So I want to make sure we have enough time. So I'm going to try and get through all these slides. This is one that happens. We call it edema. Is another word for edema is swelling. So why does that happen that we have, our feet and our ankles and body parts swell? Why does that happen? In older adults specifically. Do you notice that happens when you go on an airplane?
Dehydration.
Sometimes it's dehydration. Yeah, that's a really big one, dehydration. And why is that? Well, I've talked about this in another class, but basically when you're dehydrated, your body goes, oh, No water. Why is there no water? Are we on a water, like there's no water. So what does it do? It holds on to the water it has in the body, and they'll just hold on to it because you're dehydrated. You end up with swelling ankles. It's also possibly due to some of the medications you might take. Karen, did you have a question?
No, I was going to say diabetes can cause edema too.
Yeah,
well.
absolutely. So some medical conditions and medications. Other things.
Cassandra, arthritis.
Yes, that's right, Cassandra. Absolutely, that's another one. So sometimes the weight, the weight gain. Sometimes the swelling is from weight gain. I've had it happen to me before when I had gained weight. Staying on your feet too long, having ill-fitted shoes, so you're wearing not very good shoes, our diet, and also that sedentary lifestyle. All of those reasons can cause the swelling in our feet. My mother-in-law was having it because she changed her medication. She was on a blood pressure medication, but this one caused swelling and it just was not good. So she had to get that switched over. So what can we do for edema? Well, here's some ideas. So when typically edema, because our bodies have the healing powers, it will resolve on its own. But if you're worried because, whoa, this is like too much swelling, drink 8 to 10 glasses of water per day. Get your fluids in to get yourself hydrated again, and then your body might not hoard that water anymore. Using compression socks. My father uses compression socks. Soaking in a cool Epsom salt bath for 15 to 20 minutes.
Can we use coffee as the liquid?
Coffee? No. Coffee and tea can be diuretics, so that can just well, yes, you could. I suppose you could, but if somebody's dehydrated, I wouldn't want them to be having the effects from coffee or tea to dehydrate them even more. So I would want them to be drinking fluids, water specifically. And elevating your feet, preferably above your heart if you can, is another really good way to help resolve some of these issues with swelling. But here's the specifics on the natural remedies. If you're retaining water, you might be low in magnesium specifically. So what are rich foods in magnesium? Almonds, tofu, cashews, spinach, broccoli, and avocados. They all have high magnesium. So if you're finding you've got some swelling, maybe try some of these. If you're going to go to a magnesium supplement, talk to your doctor for sure. There's some really great magnesium supplements out there. And another way to get magnesium into your body is through a bath. There's something you can put in your bath to get the magnesium through your skin, which is another really great way. So we've got our almonds, our tofu, our cashews. There's lots of other foods with magnesium, but this is just a common thing. So if you're retaining water, you could be low in magnesium. That's the biggest thing I researched. All right, we're going to move on to high blood pressure, which we know can be very damaging to our hearts if we have consistent, ongoing high blood pressure. Why do we have high blood pressure? It could be because of our diet, our lifestyle, but it also could be hereditary. So don't beat yourself up over that. Some of us have hereditary high blood pressure, and so it doesn't matter how great your lifestyle is, you might just have a hereditary form. So hopefully you've spoken to your doctor. For anybody, because of the damage it can do to your heart, you need to talk to your doctor and get on the right possibly medication for it to get it into the norms. So what can we do to reduce our high blood pressure? Walking, getting some exercise regularly, maybe reducing your salt intake. So maybe you are having too much salt. Managing your stress, cutting back on your caffeine, and just drinking less alcohol. All of those things can naturally reduce your high blood pressure. You might not want to hear it, but drinking more can increase that high blood pressure, and the caffeine can also elevate it. So if you're finding that it's bugging you, you've got some things, you might want to reconsider how much coffee you're drinking or how much caffeine you're getting. Now, high blood pressure, this is the natural remedy that I wanted to talk to you about, is eating more potassium-rich foods. We tend to be low in potassium when our blood pressure is high. So what's the big foods with potassium rich? that are potassium rich. We got our green leafy vegetables, our bananas. We always hear about bananas being high in potassium, right? So bananas do have a high amount. Apricots do as well. Nuts, seeds, and beans, they all have high potassium. And then also eating dark chocolate, why not? That also is rich in flavonoids, and it helps to relax the blood vessels and help to lower your blood pressure in essence. So a good piece of dark chocolate can help you bring your blood pressure down. Maybe it just reduces your stress. I don't know. Feel stressed, eat a piece of chocolate. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which comes first, but all right. Yeah, so that's the high blood pressure one, is the potassium. Okay, and then the one before that, the edema, is the magnesium. So what does it say? If you were to eat just a really good rainbow, diet, you probably would cut out half of these things. All right, we're going to get on to the sixth one, psoriasis. Does anybody have problems or in the past with like skin irritations? Psoriasis is one of those skin things that can come up, and it's quite unique. Every case is very unique with psoriasis. So you really got to figure out what works best for you. They do feel that a lot of the psoriasis can be coming from stress. Stress can trigger a thing. Salt baths are really good for soothing the skin, and anything to relieve your stress, because the stress does trigger the flare-ups. Meditation, yoga, deep breathing, using a humidifier to moisten your air in your home if you've got really, really dry air and dry skin. And they also say maintaining your weight. So if you have a tendency to gain weight, that can affect your psoriasis. But what is it that we could use that we can help with psoriasis? Well, aloe vera, not surprising, right? We know aloe vera gel, it can help reduce redness, the scaliness, the itchiness, and the inflammation. So that's a beautiful picture of an aloe vera plant. It's got this gorgeous gel inside. It's cooling. It's just so soothing on the skin. There are a lot of creams and body lotions out there that have aloe vera. Please read the ingredients. Make sure that aloe vera is the first or second ingredient, right? You want your aloe vera gel to have aloe vera in it, not just a fake amount of, tiny, teeny amount of aloe vera in it. And if you can, start growing a plant. Nothing beats a fresh snip off the plant and putting that gel right on your skin.
Does that plant have to be indoors or can it be outdoors?
I've only ever had my aloe vera plant indoors, but I mean, you'd have to look and see what area you live in and the temperature, but they work really, they do really well inside for sure.
I live in Florida and I have them outdoors and they are wonderful.
Good.
I had shingles and I didn't know I had shingles, and I put it on there and went to the doctor and he said, well, you couldn't have found anything better to put on.
Excellent. That's really great to hear, Pat, because aloe vera is it's so soothing. Like they make after burn, like if you burnt yourself in the sun, they have aloe vera gels you can put on your skin. So the other really main big thing for psoriasis, and this come up before, as you've heard, omega-3 fatty acids, because it helps to decrease the inflammation. And so when you have that skin irritation, I don't get psoriasis, but I've seen it on people, and it looks really painful and red. So it can help to reduce the inflammation by making sure you got your omega-3. So I can't say that enough. In I can't remember whichever class, my basic nutrition class, this is out of the 3 top nutrients I think older adults should have. Make sure they get their omega-3. So maybe I'm going to
soap.
Yeah.
What is there aloe soap?
I've never heard of aloe vera soap. I have not heard of it. I use olive oil soap only. That's the only soap I use. But olive oil, like it's another natural fat, good. Like I actually get my soap from Greece, like the real proper olive oil soap. But we should look for it and see if there's aloe vera soap. That's not a bad idea. But the omega-3s, again, when I talk about the healthy fats, one of the things we forget, whether we're on a diet or we're watching our weight or we're doing whatever, we tend to sort of just cut out fat thinking, oh, all cholesterol is bad. No, good cholesterol is good for us and we need it. So we need this omega-3 fatty acids. And I might convert you all to eating fish. Like maybe you're going to all start eating fish once a week, the oily fish, just to get your omega-3s. All right. We're on to the last one.
What about tuna fish?
Tuna is mackerel, tuna, salmon, and sardines. They're all sort of the oily fish. So yes, they have the omega-3s in them. So the last ailment that I chose, because I thought about this one, I was trying to think what to put for the 7th one. We sometimes just think this is part of old age, right? My vision, I can't see, which glasses do I have? We're always going back and forth between glasses. But guess what? Decreased vision might be caused by something, not just, quote, old age. Going for regular checkups is really, really important to prevent the eyesight and prevent injuries or illness. You know, you go see the eye doctor, they check for cancers, they check for different things. The best thing we can do for our vision is to try to stay fit and maintain our healthy weight, because that will help to reduce our chance of type 2 diabetes, which we do know. And my grandfather, I used to see my grandfather having troubles with his eyesight because of his diabetes, because it does damage the tiny little vessels in your eye, and that's called diabetic retinopathy. So it's a specific disease symptom related to diabetes. And we have a lot of diabetes across North America, like huge amounts. Do we want to start losing our eyesight? No, we don't want to start having problems. Wearing protective eyewear is really important, and wearing sunglasses, like we don't think, oh, it's that sunny. Yesterday I went out, we were going to our workout, and it was so bright out, I couldn't even see out of my eyes. Like when we put our eyes through that, we shouldn't do that. So what kinds of things, now we might have learned this in school. I'm thinking like when we were young, we learned about eye health a little bit in elementary school. So the key vitamins and minerals for keeping our eyes healthy, what are they? Vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin E, as well as zinc. Zinc has come up again. A lot of us are low in zinc, and that will help to prevent diseases such as macular degeneration, which is a fairly common eye disease in older adults. So food sources, again, your colorful vegetables. I've got some pictures up there of the red and the orange foods. And there's also there's a thing called carotenoids. And those things, they're such as lutein and this other zeaxanthin. They're both found in the green vegetables, broccoli, zucchinis, and also in eggs that are really good for our eyes. So
sorry to interrupt
sure.
you. We have a question from Kathy Hilton. What brand of olive oil soap?
Thank you. So Kathy, you can research, if you Google products from Greece, like I don't know where you live, but if you Google products from Greece, you'll get some actual Greek websites. And I happen to have a friend who's Greek, and so he brings me his sister makes soaps. Actually, you just asked that about it's olive oil, sorry, not aloe vera. So he sends me soaps from his sister's company, and I think she sells on, what's that? Not Pinterest. Maybe it's Pinterest. She sells her soaps. But there are some soaps in health food stores, or if you have a Greek store in your neighborhood, go there, you will find olive oil soap, and just look at the ingredients. It's usually just olive oil and whatever they do to make the soap. Really great on your skin.
They have plenty of aloe vera soaps, including Ivory make one. I put Dove, but it's Ivory. But if you Google it, there's a whole list of, and how much percentage.
Okay, thanks, Rosalind. So there you go for Arlene and husband there. They do make aloe vera soaps. You don't have your name up there. What you told me your name once, and I should remember it. Stan? No. You have to unmute yourself and tell me your name.
Sam.
Sam. See, I was close. I was so close. I called you Stan. Okay, so Sam and Arlene, you're gonna have to put your name up there so I remember your smiling face. That's Sam. All right. Okay, so that takes us to the 7th ailment. And so I'm gonna stop sharing for a second here. So we are finished the presentation that I wanted to bring to everybody. We got a big class. There's 39 of you today. So I have a little bit of time, a couple minutes to answer any questions related to today's class. Does anybody have any questions? This is the first time I'm doing this class. Cassandra.
Yes, they talk about sea moss. Is sea moss good for you?
There are a lot of things from the sea that have been made into natural products. And the thing about sea things, there's a lot of minerals, right? We get a lot of minerals in this, and that's probably why a lot of these things are being promoted from the sea, because of the minerals that are in them. So eating algae or eating like the seaweeds and stuff. Like I do eat seaweed sometimes. You can get it as a sprinkle to put on salads. So that's probably the reason. I'm going to guess that. All right. I don't know who put their hand up first. Chris, did you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I did. When I was growing up, I'm an avid swimmer, and I used to get earaches a lot. And my mother's was Hispanic, and she used to go out in the backyard, and there was a plant growing there that she would take a sprig from and heat it in olive oil and put it in a cotton ball, which worked wonders. Do you know what plant that is?
I do not know, but I can certainly research that.
It's wonderful. And I still am an avid swimmer and still have earaches, and no product that I've ever used, including prescribed, has worked as well as that plant did.
Maybe a pharmacist could help you.
I've asked a pharmacist, and I've asked doctors. I've gone to, I've tried to research it because I get really, really bad earaches from swimming.
They can't help you?
I have not been helped yet. So I was just
I would think about like where your mom grew, like what yard it was, like where was this, which like sometimes plants are like they grow in certain areas. So that might be one way to kind of try to narrow it down for sure. Okay, I want to get to the rest of the questions. Jane, did you have a question?
Yes. Can you suggest something that helps prevent kidney stones?
Well, that wasn't in the class today, but with kidney stones, I think there are certain juices like dark cherry juice. Well, maybe that's for gout, but also similar with the crystals and stuff. I would just go to your health food store and specifically ask them for the ailment that you are talking about, because I know there are things people can take for kidney stones. Why are you producing them in your body, and like get to the root of the issue and look at that for sure. Karen, did you have a question? Oh, you're still on mute.
I have a question.
Just let Karen's turn now. Go ahead, Karen.
I was wondering, what did you say about the omega-6?
Okay, so omega-3s and omega-6s, we don't manufacture those in our bodies, so we need to get it into our, like, so they're fatty acids. We don't make them in our body. We have to get it from our foods, but we need a good ratio of the 3s, 6. There's actually a 9 as well, but let's just focus on the 3 and the 6s. We need that in our bodies, but we already naturally get a lot of 6. We're almost overboard in 6. So our ratio is really out of skew. So we really need to build up our 3s, because we get 6s in plant oils. So safflower oil, canola oil, things like that. We get a lot of that, whether you cook with it or you buy food, like the cheap oils, like the safflower, the canola oil is in all our packaged stuff. So you're getting, I can guarantee most people are getting enough, too much omega-6. So that's the balance. Okay. Annie, Annie, did you want to ask your question?
I just would need to know, because I do use this a little cinnamon in my tea and everything like that. Yeah. Is there any kind of side effect to the cinnamon?
Well, for most, unless somebody has a sensitivity to cinnamon, cinnamon's actually very, I haven't heard of anybody being allergic to cinnamon, unless you've got some sensitivity. You can sprinkle it. I sprinkle it in all my baking. I use it a lot.
Yes, I use it in my baking. I even, like I said, I even put it in my tea and everything. So I was just wondering, could you have too much? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Is there a connection between gout and kidney stones?
Not that I'm aware of. I'd have to research that. I don't think so. So Alma, is Alma on here? I never see Alma. Maybe you don't have your
Yes, I don't have a picture, but I'm on.
You're there. Okay. Alma's asking for a slide summary of the 7 ailments so that someone who comes in late can see what the 7 ailments are. Okay. Well, we do put a little description. I guess it's kind of more like not a secret, but it's sort of come and see what the common ailments are. If this class is popular, I will do another class with 7 other ailments, so I can bring in some of the other things that people are asking about. But right now I don't really have a slide per se that you would get to see in the description, because our descriptions are pretty small on the schedule, like what we can say about the class. I just say 7 common ailments. Okay, Felice, did you have a question?
I have a comment. I want to say I enjoyed the class.
Great.
And I did try your mother's lentil soup because I took the other class. It was great. It was a hit. So I will be making more of that.
I'm so
it was
happy.
Good. And I'm going to try more of the recipe. I will be trying more of the recipes. And as far as the olive oil, I did start using that.
Yep.
I use it in the natural sense. I don't have it in the bar soap or anything. And I did order some from Greece, some olive oil from Greece.
Oh, good.
And
I know. I
that.
get crazy. I don't know what the shipping and stuff is, but there's some amazing products from Greece,
Yeah.
like specifically with the olive oils and the soaps. And oh gosh, there's some really great. They have this beautiful bush that they make tea from that's supposed to be super healing. So it grows in the mountains in Greece. So I got that.
Yeah.
But not just, I mean, there's other countries that have amazing products too. It's just I happen to have a love for the stuff from Greece.
Yeah, but as you said, you have to research and research. So I've been researching and everything else. So I'll find different things and try things out.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you for sharing. Now, Elise, she put something here her mother used to grow an herb called mullein that she used for everything. Maybe it was used for earaches. So that's just a thought there.
Yeah, I looked that up, and that
Thank
was
you very
for that
much.
purpose. I did look that up.
Mullein, how do you spell that?
It's right in it's in the chat.
Okay.
Okay, I'm about to say I looked it up. Yeah.
Okay, so I really appreciate everybody being here today. Thank you for being patient. It's the first time I'm doing the class. I feel like we were able to get through all the slides. Let me just share one more time here.
Ravina, can you just repeat the 7 ailments? I know you're not sending it to us, but just
yeah, absolutely. Okay. Well, let me just go back here. I'll just go back. So I think we started with the ailments for this class are high blood sugar is number 1.
Okay.
The second one was hair thinning.
Okay.
Third one is anxiety.
Okay.
Fourth one was edema.
Okay.
High blood pressure.
Okay.
Psoriasis.
Okay.
And then decreased vision.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Okay, so thank you for being here. You can send any comments or any ideas you might have to liz@getsetup.io. I've got a couple of classes here that I'm mentioning, and I will send an email out to all of you with a few key takeaways. And you do get a chance to do feedback, and I love to get feedback. If you'll get a thing that looks like what's up on the screen, it starts at a 4-star. If you really love the class, give it a 5-star. If you feel it needs some work and some ideas, you can give it a lower star. And spread the word about Get Set Up to everybody. That would be wonderful. Okay, take care, everyone. I have to go now because we're over time, but it was the first time doing the class, so it's just kind of fun to see where we can get. And thank you for being here.
Thank you. I enjoyed it. Bye-bye.
Excellent. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye-bye.